এ মন দুর্মতি সংসার ভিতরে পড়িয়াছিনু আমি। এ মন দুর্মতি সংসার ভিতরে পড়িয়াছিনু আমি। তব নিজ জন কোন মহাজনে, তব নিজ জন কোন মহাজনে পাঠাইয়া দিলে তুমি। এ মন দুর্মতি সংসার ভিতরে পড়িয়াছিনু আমি। হরে কৃষ্ণ। হরে কৃষ্ণ। হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Radha Madhava Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Landeneshwara Radha Landeneshwara Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Gokulananda Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Damodara Shri Radhe, Jaya Ram Lakshman Sita Hanuman, Jaya Ram Lakshman Sita Hanuman, Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Radha Madhav ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotee, Mataji, a little bit late. Is anyone like to do kirtan for us, please? Hare Krishna. Anyone like to do kirtan, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I can do, Prabhu.
Please, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. 1 second, Prabhu.
Yeah. I think Jamuneshwari Mataji already joined us.
Namo Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jayo Shri Dhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Madhava Sri Radhe Jayo Jagannatha Jayo Baladeva Jayo Shubhadramai Jayo Sudarshan Chakra Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Srila Prabhupada Jai Jayo Gurudev Jayo Srila Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you
so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Bol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Lichan Prabhu.
Dandavat
Thank
Pranam.
you, Aparna Mataji, for the Kirtan. So we will start. Prabhu, can you help me to share the screen, please?
Yes, I made you already co-host,
Yeah.
Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. So we welcome all the devotees for today's Chaitanya Charitamrita session. And I guess many of them have gone for holidays as well. So, and we are discussing, last week we discussed about Shuddha Bhakti little bit. So the further of the verses in the Madhya Lila will be discussing today. So reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 19, text 168. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra
Cannot hear, Prabhu?
I think
Cannot
Mataji
hear.
network been cut, Mataji.
No.
So she'll be joining soon, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Vivek Prabhu. Mataji will be joining soon. Would you like to do the announcement, please? Vivek Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Vivek Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'm sorry, I think I got disconnected.
Yes, yes. Mataji.
And kindly allow me to share again.
I did this, Mataji.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Okay, so we just did the invocation prayer. So we'll read straight from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 19.168. Okay. Anya Vansha, Anya Puja, Chadi Jnana Karma, Anukulye Sarvendriye, Krishna Anusilana. Anya Vansha, other desires. Anya Puja, other types of worship. Chadi, giving up. Jnana, material knowledge. Karma, material activities. Anukulye, favorably. Sarva Indriye, with all the senses. Krishna Anusilana, cultivation of Krishna consciousness. So So translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So a pure devotee must not cherish any desire other than to serve Krishna. He should not offer worship to the demigods or to the mundane personalities. He should not cultivate artificial knowledge which is devoid of Krishna consciousness. And he should not engage himself in anything other than Krishna conscious activities. One must engage all one's purified senses in the service of the Lord. This is a favorable execution of Krishna conscious activities. Okay, so these activities are called Ye Shuddha Bhakti Iha Haite Premahaya Parichāratre Bhagavati E Lakshanakaya. These activities are called Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotion service. If one renders such pure devotion service, he develops his original love for Krishna in due course of time. In Vedic literatures like the Pancharatras and Srimad Bhagavatam, these symptoms are described. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. One has to develop his devotional service under the directions of a pure devotee, the spiritual master, and in accordance with the Vedic directions given in the Pancharatra and Bhagavata systems. The Pancharatra system includes methods of temple worship, and the Bhagavata system includes the spreading of Krishna conscious philosophy through the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam and the discussion of philosophy with people who are interested. Through discussion, one can create an interest and understanding of the Pancharatra and Bhagavata systems. Okay. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurummilitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tatati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuttapatakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sakagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sakagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sandubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishwapadaya Krishna Presaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shamyavali Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam bhagum langayate girim Yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanandamadavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So so quite interesting to see here about the Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotion service. And Srila Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions the definition of the Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti as Anya Bilashita Sunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyena Krishnanu Silanam Bhakti Rottamam. So in that it's mentioned that pure devotion should be, I'll read the translation as this. The devotee is devoid of all material desires, monastic knowledge, and fruitive action, and constantly serves Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. This is a cultivation of first-class devotional service. So Shuddha Bhakti, the definition given by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.1 is that the definition of pure devotion service, it is free from three things, that is material desires, monistic knowledge and fruitive action, and constantly serves Krishna favorably. So what are the do's and don'ts here mentioned is that, or how the positive and negative aspects, the negative aspects to be given, the positive aspects to be developed. Is that a person who is already in pure devotion service, what he does is that he constantly serves Krishna favorably, not unfavorably. Can you give an example of a person who constantly remembered Krishna? Because remembering Krishna is smaranam, thinking of Krishna. It is not so easy to remember Krishna, because if we see in our day-to-day life, right from the morning till evening, we remember so many different things, right from our workplace, our family, children, wife, husband, friends, our career. Probably if you're a student, then about education. It's nothing wrong. The point here we are trying to say is that we think of different different subject matters in a day. And how much, and of course, the devotees, it's not that we should not think, we can relate with Krishna and think. And the point is that, but how many times we actually get into that and absorbed into it and forget Krishna. So if we see on a day-to-day basis, each one of us know how much we really think of Krishna or really remember Krishna. But there is one personality quite famous and is being quoted by Srila Prabhupada in many places, that this person always remembered Krishna, but unfavorably. Who remembers that? Anyone?
Kamsa Mataji.
Kamsa. Who said that?
Shivam Mataji.
Sorry?
Shivam.
Shivam Prabhu, brilliant. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu, very correct. Because we see that Kamsa was always remembering Krishna, but was it favorable or unfavorable, Prabhu?
Unfavorable, Mataji, because he
Unfavorable.
was
Why?
He was always scared of him, and like he can come and kill him anytime.
So it's out of fear, not out of love, isn't it?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So we see that the way actually Kamsa was also remembering Krishna, which is wonderful, but remembering not favorably, and he was thinking of Krishna as an enemy. So that's a negative thing. He did not consider Krishna as a friend, or as a well-wisher, or as a master, or as a dear Lord, but rather he thought Krishna as an enemy. So that's why naturally it was fear and not love. So that kind of remembrance of the Lord is not the recommended one. So pure devotees, they also think of Krishna, but they think of Krishna favorably, as a well-wisher, as a friend, as a master, as a wonderful Lord. Like Parikshit Maharaj always asked Sukadeva Goswami, what my wonderful Lord is doing. Their very remembrance, we will be seeing later the characteristics of Shuddha Bhakti. The very remembrance, if someone talks about Krishna, immediately they get so absorbed and so ecstatic, and they become so much filled with love. That's one of the characteristics of pure devotion service. We will talk about that soon. So the aspect of devotion, pure devotion services, they always think of Krishna favorably. And the second thing is that that devotion is free from material desires. There is no material desire at all, because whatever they desire is that what Krishna desires. So that is why it is mentioned that as a practitioner, when we are praying to Krishna also, sometimes we do not know. We may want certain things, but we are not very sure, or we are not quite confident that is going to be good for us. But our mind wants it. So how do we pray? So whatever desire we have, we can pray, no problem. But we add another a short extra words. What are that? If it pleases Krishna, if it pleases you, Krishna. So then what happens? It is Krishna's problem. That in the sense that Krishna will take that and then see that if it is good for us, then Krishna will give. If it is not good, he is not going to give us. But at the end of the day, it is for our good. So that is why it is good to ask, good to say a prayer, and then add the statement, if it pleases you, Krishna. So in that way, we are not caught. Otherwise, what happens is that we may desire something which we may think that it is so wonderful now. But then down the line, probably after 10 years or 5 years or 15 years or whatever, then we think that, say, for example, if that did not happen, then and we have told Krishna, then later 10 or 15, we may not realize that moment, but we may realize over a period of time why, Krishna did not give or Krishna gave. Krishna can give or Krishna won't give. Giving also, he is giving because there is a purpose. He is not giving because there is a purpose. Because Krishna knows what is good for us. So if that kind of for us, it sometimes is very difficult for us to say if it pleases you, Krishna, because we are scared that, oh, if I add that word, then Krishna may not give. Or, so better I don't say that because I really desire Krishna. Let it happen. So pure devotees are beyond that because they are not, like a conditioned soul that to fulfill their own material senses. They totally want, their mood is complete to please Krishna's senses, the master of senses, Rishikesha. But whereas a conditioned soul is every moment doing an activity to please his own senses. That's the difference between a conditioned soul and a pure devotee. Even when a conditioned soul is trying to perform something spiritual, still the sense gratification is in the center. I am performing, I'm going to a temple because that makes me happy. I'm going to a temple because I will feel peaceful. I'm going to a temple because my problem will be solved. I'm going to temple because, my things will be taken care of. I'm going to temple because, I'll have a good health. I will have a good wealth. I will have this. I will have that. It is at the end of the day to gratify my senses. That's the difference between a conditioned soul and a pure devotee. A pure devotee is not going to temple because of all these reasons. A pure devotee is going to temple because Krishna will be pleased to see me. Because Krishna, being the master, and being the Lord of, being the Supreme Father, being the loving master, he would love to see his servant. He would love to see his children. He would love to see the part and parcels to come and surrender to him. Because it's like a loving father waiting for the lost child to come back. When the lost child is turning back or coming back to their father, how much joy the father feels. So similarly, the pure devotee thinks, if I come and bow down in front of the Lord, or if I come and offer myself in front of the Lord, and when the Lord looks at me, he feels so happy. Oh, at last his conditioned soul is coming back to me. Or he made an effort to, just like a father feels very happy if a child comes and, oh, dad, I've come today, to see you. Say a child is studying in a college or uni or something, and then it takes, whenever there is a weekend or whatever, he comes, I'm just coming to see you. If a child says, how the parent would feel so happy. If a child does something, an activity, many times the children come back weekend because sometime, like, okay, I can get a good food, take a break, it's too much in the university, or, like that. But when a child says that, I have not come for all these things, I've come to see you. How does it make, how does it sound? It sounds very loving, very pleasing. Every parent would love their child to say that word, or at least think in that way. Because the current world, we see that the children are completely off the track, mostly. It become, they are mostly thinking about themselves. How many are able to think, the way the society is going also. All the time they are comparing themselves with the peers, and they are thinking what career I can take. Okay, that's not a problem, but it's more of enjoyment mood. So how many of them think back what my parents have given and be grateful and be very offering some kind words, loving expressions? Very rare. Similarly, the rebellious souls, the conditioned souls are so rebellious, very ungrateful. So even to go to a temple, even to offer a service is selfish. It is for me to feel happy, not for the Lord. But the pure devotees are just opposite. They are doing everything, even their remembrance, everything is to make the Lord happy. That's why they are pure devotees. That's why no tinge of material desire. That means there is nothing that a pure devotee is looking for to make his own self happy. He's making every plan, making every step to see that the Lord is happy. Big difference. Same activity, same kind of thinking probably, same content, but the intention is different. The inclination is different. The attitude is different. So that's the difference we see. So free from material desires, and then monastic knowledge in the sense of merging with the Supreme, forget it, yeah, okay, I don't want material desires, but I want, mukti or liberation. In the sense I am enough of it in this material world. All the time, I am, rotting in this material world, going through the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. Oh, enough of problems. Let me put a full stop to the problem. Again, selfishness, that I don't want to suffer anymore. So give me a break. Let me end this cycle so that I can be happy. There is no picture of Krishna. There is no place for Krishna there. So in material desires also, I, me, mine. In mukti, in the case of liberation, again, I, me, and mine. And then the last one, fruitive activities. Fruitive activities is that all that we do in the sense, okay, if I do this, I will get this benefit. If I offer this, whatever activity, then I will get this benefit. So I will make an endeavor, but I have to get this result. So this is the attitude in which a conditioned soul offers an activity. But a pure devotee is free from all these things, free from material desires, free from monastic knowledge, and fruitive activity. And always remembering Krishna, or serves Krishna in a very favorable mood, in a very loving spirit, in a mood of gratitude. So then, and that also, in a way, Krishna desires. I am not doing this particular service because this service makes me happy. No, I am doing this particular service because this is what Krishna desires. Because if you see in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says many things. For example, those who actually share this knowledge with others, they are very dear to me. So if someone is actually, spreading this knowledge to others, thinking in that spirit, oh, this will make Krishna happy. And also Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Yare deko tare kaho Krishna upades. Whomever you meet, please tell about Krishna. So if I do this, this will make Krishna happy, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, if I do this, Lord Chaitanya will be very happy, because he says in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And if I do this, this will make Srila Prabhupada happy, because this is what Srila Prabhupada wanted. So if a pure devotee is someone who does that, even a service, and his mood is that I'm doing this because this will give such a pleasure to Krishna and to the disciplic succession. If you take the example of Srila Prabhupada, he did every single thing because it will make his spiritual master happy. He was always seeking to make his spiritual master happy. He wants to make Krishna happy. He wants Lord Chaitanya to be happy, because Lord Chaitanya said, in every town and village, my name will be sung. So you want that, to make that effort to see that Lord Chaitanya is pleased. So this is a definition, very beautiful definition Srila Rupa Goswami has mentioned. A pure devotee, the definition of a pure devotee. If at all, sometimes, a conditioned soul, a sadhaka, a practitioner, when performing sadhana or Krishna consciousness for quite a period of time, and if in, say 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and then everyone praises at devotee, and probably you occupy a lot of important positions, and then you're preaching, and everyone praises, oh, you are a pure devotee. So, but then the condition, being a conditioned soul, sometimes the mind can get tricked also. Oh, probably, even for a second, split second, can think, oh, maybe I am a pure devotee. But when we look into this definition, it's when we remember that as a sadhaka, we understand it's a long way to go. And we never will be cheated in the sense cheating ourselves or get misled when even the whole world says that you are a pure devotee, because we know where we stand, because we have a lot to work on. So the first thing is that Srila Rupa Goswami mentions that a pure devotee thinks constantly to right? And then constantly serves Krishna favorably as Krishna desires, and freed from all kinds of material desires, monastic knowledge, and fruitive activity. This is called a first-class devotion service, Uttama Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti. It's a very beautiful definition. Okay, let's see. What are the what are the activities, the effects of a pure devotion? Okay, it sounds to be a little hi-fi. Yes, of course. But just imagine how much joy it gives to Krishna when someone develops this pure bhakti. Again, I take this example of a child and a parent. If a child does everything just to make the parents happy, how much joy the parents feel. The child is taking a course and studying so well, being brilliant, and coming outstanding in his studies, and gives all that credit to the parents. And it says that, you really wanted me to become like that, right? Okay, that's why I actually took this course. And he excels also in that course, and then takes a career as the parent desire. So it does everything to make the parent happy. Just imagine what the parent would be. They will be flying in the air. It's very rare to find such a child. Of course, there are such kind of children are still there. But just imagine how much joy it gives to a parent. So Krishna being the Supreme Lord, I am the seed-giving Father. How much happy and joy he would feel, the part and parcels, to realize that they are not this body, they are soul, they have this eternal connection with the Supreme Father. And then they are turning towards him and doing loving devotional service to him in a pure spirit just to make him happy. How much Krishna would be happy. So what happens to that person if he attains that stage of pure devotional service? Of course, many things. But there are two important effects mentioned happens when someone is in the platform of pure devotional service. What is that? Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti nochyate. So it is mentioned that, let me show up the screen. Just 1 second. Okay, sorry. So how much joy it gives for Krishna. So the two effects of devotional service, what we see is Sarva Upadi Vinirmuktam. Sarva Upadi. Upadi means designations. What are the designations? Can anyone say what are the different designations one normally identifies oneself? Anyone can think of the designations? Designations means identities. What are the different identities we connect ourselves with?
I'm Indian. I'm a woman.
Excellent. Yeah, what else?
Male, female, Mataji. Then regarding our profession, what
Profession,
we,
yes. What else?
I'm Brahmin, I'm Kshatriya. So based on the caste. I'm based on the caste. I could be Brahmin or Kshatriya.
Exactly. Yeah. So like that we can give. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. So like that we have a lot of material designations, so in this world, material world is full of that. We always, and even ourselves, when we take ourselves, we identify ourselves with many, even in spiritual things, we identify ourselves with many things. So that upadi, that, that is there in us all the time. To give up that so-called designations is very, very difficult because we are deeply connected. Again, that I, me, and mine is so strongly deep-rooted, the conditioned soul, that we can, even if someone sits in a classroom, one particular place, we can just recollect and see. Say, for example, there is a 10-day session happening, and we happen to sit in one particular place and start hearing, and we are so comfortable. Second day, we sit in the same place. Third day, we get attached to that seat so much, right? And we want to sit in that seat only for the last 10 days, next 10 days. So like that, even small things, we are so attached. We identify ourselves with a group, with just as I was saying, even in spiritually, we may identify ourselves with a Bhakti Vriksha, we may identify ourselves with a sector, we may identify ourselves with a circle, we may identify ourselves with a particular part of the UK. So all these designations are there. So a pure devotee is someone who is free from all this designation, because if someone attains the stage of pure devotion, so then we can analyze ourselves also, because pure devotee means no designation at all. The only designation is, what is that only designation? Can anyone think of that? What is the only designation a pure devotee would be thinking?
Servant of the
Lord.
Exactly, servant of the Supreme Lord. That's the only designation, which is the eternal designation. That's the eternal identity. It never changes. Doesn't matter whether I take a male body or female body, or I, I belong to a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, or I belong to this country or that country. So all these other designations are temporary and they can change anytime. And of course, they will change. But this one designation of being an eternal servant of Krishna doesn't change at all. It is eternally the same when we are in the material world, when we go back to the spiritual world. Sorry. So this is the situation. So the pure devotees means the effect of the two effects of pure devotion is, the number one effect is that we are free from all kinds of temporary material designations. How wonderful it is. It is a freedom actually. Because when we identify ourselves with this and that, I am a child of so-and-so person, I'm the wife of so-and-so person, I'm this of that and this of this, so many. But when the eternal identity one identifies, then it is such a relief. And then the second thing, what happens is that one's senses are naturally purified, spontaneously. Purified simply by that pure service. So they don't have to make an extra effort to purify the senses because of their consciousness. They just, whatever service they do in the pure spirit, automatically the senses gets purified because it's pure devotional service. Pure devotional service can purify the senses. Even if it is not done in a pure spirit, yet devotional service is so powerful that it purifies. Then what to speak about doing devotional service in the spirit of pure devotion, just to please Krishna, not for anything else. If anyone is giving even a small seva, let's take example. Say someone is telling us to clean a particular, in a temple hall, say a temple room we are cleaning. I'm just cleaning this temple room because by cleaning the temple, this is a service, being very grateful for the service. And by doing that, Krishna will be so pleased. And then Mahaprabhu, remembering how Gundicha, he cleansed so that, this place is kept spotless for the Lord to reside. For the Vaishnavas to come and sit and hear about the nectarian pastimes of the Lord. So when it is done in a pure spirit, then it purifies. So in every, because we are not completely, at least I am not in that level, that could be here some devotees in that spirit. So I don't want to generalize, but the point is, so whenever we do devotional service, because generally a conditioned soul, the devotional service is mixed. It's not in a fully in pure spirit. That could be a tinge of pure spirit, but not completely. So every time when we offer the service, we can make an extra effort, or an endeavor to see that we can at least fine tune our consciousness in this mode. It may go here and there, just like when we chant. We try to chant, we try to focus, but the mind goes out of focus. But again, we bring back the mind. Similarly, here also we fine tune our consciousness. Our other conditionings may come. Oh, see how nicely I'm cleaning. I don't know, I cleanse it better than that devotee. Could be sometime a thought can come like that. Or I'm cleaning, someone is watching. Oh, Prabhu, very nicely you're doing service. There's so many things can come. But again and again, we are trying to put it in that spirit. We have to pull. For pure devotees, it's spontaneous and natural. But for the sadhakas, the practitioners, we have to make an effort constantly to bring into that, bring the mind to on track. So this is a way we can work on that. But what are the two effects of pure devotional service? One is we are free from all kinds of designations. And the second thing is that the senses get naturally purified. That means our senses becomes completely spiritualized. Amazing, isn't it? So because our senses will not be pulling us anymore into this material, kind of stressful and other things and impurities. Rather, of pure devotion service. Let's see some of the characteristics. Very interesting. So a pure devotee so ecstatic, completely lost into it. Can you give some examples, please, of someone who hear about Krishna and then is completely can you give some example, please? Can you hear me, devotees?
We didn't get a complete sentence, Mataji.
Oh, sorry, I think I got lost. Okay. My question was a little bit of signal here. My question was, when we do, can you think of some example of devotees from the scriptures when they heard about Krishna, immediately they become so absorbed and they got lost into the remembrance of the Lord? So many examples. So can you think of, am I audible?
Yes, Master.
Yes, Mataji.
Rukmini Devi Mataji.
Yes, Rukmini Devi, very nice. She was completely in the mood of remembering Krishna. Okay, then
Gopis Mataji.
Gopis, beautiful, of course, all the time. And then when they remember Krishna, they are completely lost into it. Then
Radharani
Akrura,
Mataji.
yes, Akrura.
Radharani Mataji.
Radharani, okay. And some scenarios, if you can think of also, it will be nice. You know what happened to Sukadeva Goswami?
Yes, Mataji. When he thinks about Radharani, he goes into trance for more than few months. So that's why he never uses the name Radharani in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes, wonderful, very wonderful. And also, before he was, at this touch of impersonalism, but when we heard the verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, his mind was completely lost, into it, right? And then he went, want to see the Lord completely into a personal mood. Who else could you think of? Like, the example they say, like a parent, if you see when someone talks about a child, somebody's child also, then immediately they will remember their child. It's so natural because, Srila Prabhupada mentions that in the material world, something which is pure means it is the love of the mother, for its child. So you could say that all the time the mother remembers the child, and then when something, hearing about that, she immediately remembers the child and goes into that remembrance. Okay, Ramananda Roy, yes. Which place? Ramananda Roy, okay. Who else? In Chaitanya Leela, can you think of anybody? Or from Srimad Bhagavatam? Lord Chaitanya himself, yes, that's true. All the time, right? Goes into complete trance. Lord Jagannath, when he hears about Lord Jagannath, when he hears about the name of the Lord only, completely lost. That's a brilliant answer, yes. So like that, we can see all the pure devotees in different points of time. When they think about the Lord, they're completely, that's one point. Immediately they can connect. Immediately they can. King Prataparudra Maharaj, yes, that's correct. He's always in the mood. Okay, so so please remember these characteristics. We are going to ask again. So simply by hearing about Krishna, their minds of the devotees immediately goes to him, and they completely lost in their, in the absorption, in remembering the Lord. Just as Ganges flows unobstructed. Kunti Devi also prays, there is one prayer of Kunti Devi, as Ganges forever flows into the sea without any interruption. Let my, heart be flown towards you, my mind get attracts to you without any hindrance. So here also this point mentioned that, yes, Kunti Devi. So Kunti Devi says that, she says, she has this prayer. Similarly, here it is mentioned that simply hearing about Krishna, one's mind is completely connected to him, just like a Ganges without any hindrance flows towards the sea. So this is one characteristics. Okay, the second characteristics of pure devotion is causeless and ceaseless. What does it mean? Causeless means there is no cause, there is no reason. The example given is, it has no a reason, like no personal reason or no motives, basically. Completely pure, and then it's so spontaneous, like gopis. Why did they do? Why did they love Krishna for? It's just that, you cannot give any reasons for that. It is spontaneously, completely pure, and it's just to make Krishna happy. So causeless. Ceaseless means there is no obstructions, no stoppage, no interruption, no holidays in the devotional service. It is uninterruptedly flowing. So that is another important element of, if you see in a devotional service which is not a pure spirit, there is a break. Okay, someone is happy, sometime they may follow Krishna consciousness. Someone may think that my situation in life is favorable, so I will follow Krishna consciousness. Unfavorable time, I will not follow. Okay. Some problem, there was no problem sometime, so I followed Krishna consciousness. There is some problem came, no, I'm not going to follow Krishna consciousness. So can take break, it all depends on how things goes. I will take a decision. That is like kind of interrupted devotional service. But pure devotees, we see that it's uninterrupted. Doesn't matter whether they're happy, not happy, they are wealthy, not healthy, whatever you name it, is completely uninterrupted. Unmotivated and uninterrupted. Let's put it another way. Causeless and ceaseless, or unmotivated, uninterrupted. Can you give examples with scenarios, uninterrupted devotional service? Can you give an example of some pure devotees with uninterrupted devotional service?
Hanuman Mataji.
Huh?
Hanumanji.
Hanumanji. Yes. Why you are saying that? Why you are saying that?
He was always, he never thought about himself. He was always thinking only about Lord Ram Mataji.
Yeah, Lord Rama. Okay, fine. That's okay. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada is one of the example I was remembering also. That doesn't matter whether all the hardships, after that it got all the name and fame. He was always remembering the Lord, I mean serving the Lord uninterrupted. That's good. I could see what are the different things you have put. Let me see. Ambarish Maharaj. Yes, Ambarish Maharaj, if I want to play example. Dhruva Maharaj. Okay, yeah, correct. Prahlad Maharaj. Yes, a lot of problems, always uninterrupted in Prahlad Maharaj. Haridas started again. Yeah?
Lakman.
Lakshman. Yes, Lakshmanji. Yes, Lakshman. Then, any more? More and more. All the pure devotees are like that. Lakshmi Devi, Kunti Devi, Gopis, yes. Yeah, that's why they say, no, what is that last verse in the Shikshashtakam? Can anyone recite the last verse in Shikshashtakam? Ashishya Vapadaratam Vinashtamam. Adashanam Marmatam Pranutuva Yada Tata Va Vidata Tulam Pado Mat Prananata Susayeva Napara. What's the meaning, anyone? The last paragraph, what's the meaning of the Shikshashtakam last paragraph? Anyone would like to recite the last English translation of the last verse? I know no one, but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He's completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Whether he embraces me or makes me broken-hearted. It's written by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. And then he says, so whether he embraces me or makes me broken-hearted, doesn't matter, but he's always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. So that's the thing, about pure devotion. So that's a definition here, ceaseless and causeless, ceaseless. So that's one point. So together it's the second characteristic. So the third characteristic is that the pure devotees do not look for any kind of liberation, whether it is Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, there are 5 kinds of liberation mentioned. Attaining the same planet or attaining the same form. Salokya means same planet, Vaikuntha planets, or in the same form, like as the Lord. They don't want any kind of this, any kind of liberation. They are not interested in that. So they do not accept even mukti. So that's one point. And then that is the ultimate goal of life. The ultimate goal of life is to please Krishna, and so that's the only mood, to get love for Krishna and to serve him, with all their hearts. Nothing else, only to serve. Service is the only mood, just like Hanumanji. What else he wanted? Even when the coronation of Lord Rama happened, everyone took up the service. He didn't have service, but he created his service, right? So their mood is to always serve. Why? Because they are always remembering their eternal position. That we are servant of Krishna. If someone is a servant, means what? Always service, right? So they eternally looking for serving Krishna. So that's the characteristics of pure devotion service. So we'll come to this guessing question. Anyone remembers a question in the in today's class, in the flyer, in the message? There is a guess what question.
Bhukti
Scriptures
and
say,
mukti.
especially bhukti and mukti, or compared to something. What is that? Bhukti and mukti are compared to something. Very interesting
Bhukti is
word.
material enjoyment, Mataji, and mukti is free from material anxiety.
Yeah, let's come. Very good. You first, is it Priya Mataji?
Maladharini Mataji.
Sorry?
Maladharini Mataji.
Maladharini Mataji. Your
Maladharini
voice.
Mataji.
Okay, got it. Sorry. Yeah, your voice resembles Priya Mataji. Okay. So the thing is that let's come to the definition. Bhakti, mukti, and bhukti. Okay, what is bhukti? Bhukti is material enjoyment, right? Material enjoyment is called bhukti. Okay. What is mukti? Mukti means liberation, right? And what is bhakti? Can you hear me? Hare Krishna.
Bhakti is the devotion.
Yes, Mataji.
Devotion service. Okay. So let's go with the definitions slowly here. And so bhukti and mukti, there is some enjoyment, material enjoyment and liberation, both are compared to something. Especially Rupa Goswami mentions bhukti and mukti are compared to something. And the pure devotees, they don't even turn that side. And they say that if these two things are there in a place, there the pure devotion to arise is impossible. These are the words of Rupa Goswami. Because when these two things are there in someone's heart, okay, Pishacha, okay, he has written exact word, but that's fine. I want the exact word in English. What's that is mentioned? I thought someone would have done Google research and it would have said at least.
Mataji, impediment or blocker?
Yeah, it's an impediment, but it's a comparison given to something. Still, it's not late. You can do Google search. It's very interesting word. Which of desire, which, so bhukti, correct, which is bhukti, and just imagine the word which. Normally it sounds a bit rude, isn't it? It sounds, to use a word which is like sounds rude. So you can understand Srila Rupa Goswami uses this very strong and strong word for bhukti and mukti as witches. What a witch does. If a witch is there, if which kind of this bhukti and mukti are there, then how come that place pure devotion can come? It's impossible. So he says this point of bliss of bhakti is impossible when bhukti and mukti are present. Because one's mind is always looking into what is the enjoyment next, what is next, what is next, what is next. And then or otherwise, okay, how can I get rid of the cycle of birth and death? How can I reach to the, get out of this material world? Either someone wants to stay in the material for long and enjoy, or get out of this material world so that I can enjoy. Always an enjoying spirit. And bhakti is straight opposite, which is serving spirit. So he says that is, they cannot taste the bliss of bhakti. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also mentions this point, if you see, but he compares this word pisacha, he uses in one of his songs. Anyone remembers what is that song he uses this word pisacha? Yeah, correct. Is it Malik Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Yeah. So Jeev Jago song. What he says, Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole, Kota Nidra Jao Maya, Pishachira Kole. So he says that Maya is also something which is obstructing, something which is impeding. So the progress. So that's why it's compared as which. Interesting. So let's recollect what we read today before we go to thing. I think we won't be having time to do the comparison of the different stages of the prema and the sugar, the states of sugar, very nicely mentioned. Just like a sugar takes a different state, from molasses, you have crystallized sugar, sugar candy. So that's a nice analogy, and it is compared exactly with the different prema, level of prema. So maybe we will see next week. But today, let's recollect what are the little we learned, and then we can move on. So today we saw about pure devotion service. So one has to, as per the definition of Srila Rupa Goswami, one has to think Krishna how? A pure devotee remembers Krishna how? Unfavorably, favorably. Yeah? Anyone answer? You are able to hear me?
Soon as
Favorably,
they go into trance.
Yeah, no, first thing is the definition of a pure bhakti. Rupa Goswami says three things. A pure devotee is not falling under, he's not looking for these three things. And then he says a positive aspect of it is always he serves Krishna favorably, as Krishna wants or Krishna desires. So anyway, I answered it's favorably he should serve Krishna. Okay, what are the three things is mentioned? One, I give you example, free from material desires. What are the other two? Free from material desires, and what are the other two?
Serve Krishna as per his desires.
Yes, that's true, Prabhu. But he need to give up all this, give up in the sense, he's free from all these three different things. One is he's free from material desires. Other two are free from what?
Fruitive actions.
Fruitive, very good. Yes, one more.
And monastic philosophies.
Yes, mukti, yeah, monastic knowledge or monastic idea. Okay, that's very good. Okay, so that's done. And then there are two effects of bhakti we saw. The two effects, if someone is pure bhakti, then two effects happen to him. What are the two effects we said? The first
free
one?
from material designations.
Free from all material designations. Very good. Second thing?
And senses are spontaneously purified.
Senses are spontaneously purified. Brilliant, Mataji. Thank you. So that's very good. And we saw the characteristics of pure devotion service. Can you recollect some of them? What happens to a pure devotee? Some of the things which we saw. When someone talks about Krishna, naturally he gets very attracted and gets absorbed. And what is two less dash and dash? Pure devotional services, dashless and dashless.
Causeless and ceaseless.
Causeless and ceaseless. Very good. Okay. Then pure devotional service is now, if someone in pure devotional service doesn't look for, which we already covered, but again, here we see, he doesn't look for sarupya, salokya. What are those? What are those things called as?
Mukti.
Liberation.
Yes, different kinds of liberation. Yes. And their ultimate goal of life is to please Krishna. Okay, so that's brilliant. And what are the two witches which stands as an impediment for devotional service?
Bhukti and Mukti, Mataji.
Bhukti and Mukti stands in way to bhakti. And just we'll see the last line. The definition of bhakti is, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. The definition of bhakti is Rishikena. Rishika means senses. So Rishikesha means, Rishikesha means master of senses. So engaging all the senses in the master of senses is called bhakti. Engaging all our senses in the service of master of senses is called bhakti. Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevanam, Bhakti Uchyate. That's the definition. The example Srila Prabhupada always quotes is Ambarish Maharaj. Like Ambarish Maharaj engages eyes in seeing the Lord, ears in hearing about the Lord, nose in smelling the flowers offered to the Lord, mouth in speaking about the Lord, the relishing the prasadam, the hands in serving the Lord, the legs in walking to the temple of the Lord. So like that, cleansing hands and cleansing the temple of the Lord. So like that, head in bowing down, in front of the Lord. So like that, every senses can be used in the Lord's service. So then that becomes bhakti. That's the definition of bhakti. And today we saw about pure bhakti. We are all trying to do bhakti, but how our bhakti can become pure. For that, we first need to have a knowledge what are the characteristics of pure devotion service. If I do not know what pure devotion service is all about, then how do I actually aspire to perform pure devotion service? Or how do I make an attempt even to attain that as goal of my life? So that's why we need to know more about pure devotion service. So then we will feel inspired. And a lot of examples of the pure devotees, their lives, they are very, very inspiring. Then one day that will be, we keep them as our role models, and then we make an attempt as a sadhakas, as a practitioners, and pray to the Lord and pray to the Vaishnavas and to the spiritual master especially, because Srila Prabhupada in that this thing mentioned that in this process of pure devotional service, we definitely need the instructions of a pure devotee. So we are also fortunate because in the spiritual movement, we have Srila Prabhupada as our primary Siksha Guru, and also as an Acharya to guide us. And also we all have, many of us have our individual spiritual masters. So taking, and the individual, whoever has the spiritual masters, they're all disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And they are trying to follow those instructions of Srila Prabhupada. So if we also take those instructions close to our heart, and then, try to make them happy, try to please them. And then we see that very quickly by their mercy, we can also attain this most greatest treasure, which is pure devotional service. That's the ultimate goal of life. Our endeavor, constant endeavor, with the burning desire, the burning longingness, to get that, along with that, the mercy of the Lord and the Vaishnavas and the spiritual master, then it is easy for us to obtain this. Otherwise, it's quite rare and difficult. As you see the definition, it's not possible for us to very easily get that. So that needs effort, certainly a great amount of effort, sincere effort, a conscious effort, and then an uninterrupted effort. And then also always seeking the mercy, depending on the mercy of the Lord and the pure devotees and spiritual master, then one can attain this platform of pure devotion service. So we thank all of you for today's session, and you have been, very much nicely interacting. So we thank really all the devotees. So we will see that the different stages of prema, comparison with this sugar, different states of sugar. Amazing, it is really amazing. We will understand which state, there is no state basically in one sense, but still, when we hear all these things, we'll say that, wow, it's so amazing. Wish we can also one day, get into that, that direction. We are in that direction, but we can accelerate, our pace, to attain that. So thank you so much. And is there any announcements today? I think there are some. Tomorrow there is a special class, right? Is there anyone, Litan Prabhu, or anyone going to say about it? Hare Krishna, or Vivek Prabhu is there?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Sorry?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Haribol Prabhu. You are making the announcement? Hare Krishna. I can't hear you, Prabhu. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So related to so regarding the announcement, we have tomorrow class in our play school. So we are listing who are coming for tomorrow's event. So it's start at sharp 7 p.m. and we'll finish by 9 p.m. So we request all the devotees bring their BB members and their family members to have association with Prabhuji. And for Saturday we have there is 3-day camp also. So that camp registration is also going on. So devotee can let us know if they like to come with us any one of the day or 3 days. So accordingly we will do the registration. So we are doing registration. So Ritai Prabhu is in contact with the organizer team of that camp. So we don't have to register by own. So as a congregation, ELBB congregation, we will register in a bulk. So just they have to give us the name and how many person coming from their side. So we will add them. So this is a announcement from this week, Mataji.
Can you see Prabhu? Darshan?
Yes, Mataji.
Haribol, Gauranga. Oh, so sweet. Haribol, Gauranga. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Sudarshan Chakra ki jai. Shri Pancha Tattva ki jai. Shri Gaur ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All the kids ki jai. So we thank all the devotees for the session today, and please try to see if you can attend tomorrow's special session. That would be very nice. Yeah, and then many more to come, like the camp is also there, special by His Holiness Bhakti Vikash Maharaj. So much of association. Association is a key element where a lot of hearing happens, and that can awaken so much, our dormant and disabled mode of devotion, very quickly. That's the easiest shortcut to develop our devotion, being in the association and hearing about Krishna. That's wonderful. So thank you again, and we are very thankful to Srila Prabhupada and all the glorious disciples of Srila Prabhupada for giving us such a wonderful opportunity. All over the world, the ISKCON centers are there, and the extended centers, and Bhakti Vrikshas, and Namahatas, and house programs, and you name it in whatever name. But all this are meant for giving us this wonderful association to hear about Krishna, because hearing awakens the love, and in that love we can serve him. So thank you again. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Gauranga, thank you. Thank you so much. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.